If you are over 60, something in your body is changing right now. It is happening whether you feel it or not. It is not in your heart. It is not in your kidneys. It is not even in your bones. It is in one single muscle in your legs. This muscle decides whether you will still walk freely in 10 years. It decides whether you will still climb stairs. It decides whether you will stand up without pushing with your hands. It decides whether you will need help just to get out of a chair. Most people never hear about it. Doctors rarely talk about it. Blood tests do not measure it. Scans do not warn you about it. But it quietly controls your future. Right now, you may still be walking. You may still be going to the store. You may still be taking short walks. You may think everything is fine. But deep inside your legs, this muscle is slowly shrinking. And once it shrinks too much, the damage is almost impossible to reverse. This is why so many people over 60 suddenly feel weak. This is why walking starts to feel harder. This is why balance becomes unstable. This is why simple movements start to feel risky. It is not aging. It is not laziness. It is not bad luck. It is the silent collapse of one muscle. Most people blame their knees. Some blame their hips. Some blame arthritis. Some blame their back. But the real cause sits deeper. It sits in the center of your body. It sits behind your hips. It connects your spine to your legs. It is called the glute muscle. The glutes are not just for shape. They are not just for sitting. They are not just for athletes. They are the engine of walking. They are the stabilizer of standing. They are the protector of your knees. They are the anchor of your balance. When the glutes weaken, everything above and below them begins to fail. Your knees start to hurt. Your hips become stiff. Your back becomes unstable. Your steps become shorter. Your risk of falling increases. But here's the problem. Most people over 60 are destroying their glutes without knowing it. They sit too much. They walk in the wrong way. They avoid movements that activate this muscle. They rely on their knees instead. So the glutes shut down. The brain stops using them. The muscle fibers disappear. The nerve signals fade. This is called muscle inhibition. And it happens silently. You can still walk. You can still move. But you are no longer using the muscle that protects you. That is why walking alone is no longer enough after 60. You can walk every day. You can walk for hours and still lose this muscle because walking does not properly activate it anymore. So you are moving, but you are not protecting your future. In the next parts of this video, you will learn exactly why this happens. You will see what this muscle actually does. You will understand how it silently turns off. And most importantly, you will learn how to wake it back up. Because once this muscle is strong again, everything changes. Your steps become lighter. Your knees stop screaming. Your balance becomes stable. Your confidence returns. And your future stays in your own hands. But first, you need to understand what this muscle really is. The glute muscle is not one small piece of your body. It is a group of powerful muscles. They sit behind your hips. They connect your upper body to your legs. When you stand up, they fire. When you take a step, they fire. When you keep your balance, they fire. When you lift your leg, they fire. They are the bridge between standing and moving. Most people think their legs do the walking. But in reality, the glutes drive the motion. Every step forward starts from the hips. Every stable step comes from behind. Every controlled movement comes from the glutes. When this muscle works, your knees are protected. When this muscle works, your hips stay aligned. When this muscle works, your spine stays upright. When it stops working, everything shifts. The knees begin to take the load. The lower back begins to compensate. The ankles become unstable. Your body tries to survive. So it moves the work to weaker joints. This is why knee pain increases with age. This is why hip stiffness appears. This is why the back begins to ache. It is not because these joints are weak. It is because the engine behind them is off. The glutes are that engine. In younger people, this engine runs automatically. It fires every time you move. But after 60, the nervous system changes. The brain becomes more cautious. It avoids large, powerful muscle activation. It chooses smaller, safer movements instead. So the glutes are used less. The knees are used more. The back is used more. Over time, the glutes begin to forget their job. This is called neural shutdown. It is not muscle loss first. It is signal loss first. The muscle is still there, but the brain stops calling it. So when you walk, your legs move, but your hips stay quiet. You are stepping, but you are not driving. That is why walking begins to feel heavy. That is why standing up feels difficult. That is why your body feels older than it is. You are no longer moving from your center. You are moving from your joints. This is also why walking on a treadmill does not help. It moves your legs for you. It does not demand hip drive. It is also why shuffling becomes common. Small steps require less hip activation, so the brain chooses safety, and the glutes fade even more. This creates a loop. Less glute use, more joint strain, more pain, more avoidance, even less glute use. But this loop can be broken. You do not need to run. You do not need to lift weights. You do not need to go to a gym. You only need to remind the brain that this muscle still matters. And once the brain remembers, the muscle returns. In the next part, you will learn why most people unknowingly switch off their glutes as they age. The glutes do not disappear overnight. They slowly go quiet. And most people never notice when it starts. The first reason is sitting. After 60, people sit more. They sit to rest. They sit to watch TV. They sit to feel safe. Sitting places the hips in a folded position. In that position, the glutes are stretched and inactive. Over time, the brain stops sending strong signals to them. It is like a light that is never switched on. Eventually, the switch stops working. The second reason is how people walk. With age, steps become shorter. The stride becomes smaller. The hips move less. This reduces glute activation. So the muscle is not challenged. The brain decides it is not needed. The third reason is fear. Fear of pain. Fear of falling. Fear of losing balance. So people move carefully. They avoid pushing through the hips. They shift weight forward instead. This protects them in the short term, but it weakens them in the long term. The fourth reason is joint pain. Knees and hips may hurt. So the body avoids using the glutes. It tries to bypass them. This creates compensation patterns. The knees begin to do the work of the hips. The back begins to do the work of the glutes. This makes the original pain worse. So people move even less. This is how a strong muscle becomes silent. Not because of age, but because of how the body adapts to fear and comfort. The most dangerous part is this. You can still walk. You can still move. So you think everything is fine. But the engine is no longer engaged. That is why so many people feel tired in their legs. That is why they feel unstable. That is why simple tasks feel harder. It is not weakness, it is disconnection. And disconnection can be reversed. But first, it must be recognized. In the next part, you will learn the signs that tell you your glutes are already shutting down. Most people wait for pain. They wait for a fall. They wait for something serious. But the glutes give warnings long before that. The first sign is difficulty standing up. You push with your hands. You rock forward. You need momentum. This is not weakness in your arms. It is weakness in your hips. The second sign is slow walking, not tired walking. Careful walking. Short steps. Little hip movement. A feeling that your legs are dragging. The third sign is knee pain that comes and goes. Your knees were not designed to move your body forward. That job belongs to the glutes. So the knees complain. The fourth sign is balance problems. You feel fine while walking straight, but turning feels risky. Stopping feels awkward. That is hip instability. The fifth sign is lower back tightness. Your back is trying to replace your glutes. It becomes tired. It becomes stiff. The sixth sign is fatigue in the thighs. The thighs are doing work that belongs to the hips, so they burn out. These signs are not diseases. They are signals. They are your body asking for support. Ignoring them makes the problem grow, but responding early changes everything. The problem is not that you are too old. The problem is that the wrong muscles are working. When the right muscle is restored, movement feels natural again. In the next part, you will learn why walking does not fix this problem. Walking feels like the right answer. Doctors recommend it. Friends recommend it. Everyone recommends it. So people walk. They walk in the morning. They walk after meals. They walk when they feel stiff. But after 60, walking changes. It becomes easier, not harder. The body adapts. It becomes efficient. Efficiency means less muscle is used, especially the glutes. Walking becomes a leg movement, not a hip movement. The knees swing. The feet move. But the hips stay quiet. This is called passive walking. It looks like walking, but it does not activate the engine. This is why people can walk for miles and still feel weak. This is why walking does not build strength after 60. It maintains motion, but it does not restore control. The glutes need a different signal. They need to be asked to lift. They need to be asked to push. They need to be asked to stabilize. Walking does none of that. So the brain stops using them. The more you walk without activating the glutes, the more the body forgets them. This is why some people get worse, even though they walk more. They are reinforcing the wrong pattern. They are teaching the body to move without its engine. The solution is not to stop walking. The solution is to reawaken the engine. In the next part, you will learn the one simple movement that does exactly that. The movement is simple. You sit on a chair. Your feet are flat. Your back is tall. From this position, you shift your weight slightly forward. Then you slowly stand up, and you slowly sit back down. That is all. No jumping. No speed. No strain. This movement forces the hips to work. It forces the glutes to engage. There is no way around it. When you stand up from a chair, the hips must push. The knees cannot do it alone. The back cannot do it alone. The glutes must fire. That is why this movement is powerful. Not because it is hard, but because it is specific. It speaks directly to the muscle that has gone silent. When you move slowly, the brain must stay involved. It cannot rely on momentum. It must recruit the glutes. This rebuilds the lost signal. This is called neuromuscular reactivation. It means the brain is learning to trust the muscle again. This movement does not build big muscles. It rebuilds communication. That is what aging takes away first. Once communication is restored, strength follows naturally. That is why people feel more stable before they feel stronger. That is why balance improves before endurance does. This movement works even if you are weak. It works even if you are stiff. Because it doesn't demand power. It demands awareness. In the next part, you will learn how to do this safely. This movement should never feel rushed. It should feel controlled. Start with a stable chair. Place it on a flat surface. Sit tall. Do not lean back. Before standing, pause for a moment. Let your feet feel the floor. Then lean forward slightly. Let your nose move over your toes. Now stand slowly. Do not push with your hands. Let the hips do the work. If you need to use your hands at first, that is fine. Just use them less each time. When you sit back down, do it slowly. Do not drop. The slow descent is just as important. That is when the glutes learn control. If you feel shaking, that is normal. Shaking means the muscle is waking up. If you feel sharp pain, stop. Pain is not part of this process. If you feel tired, sit and rest. Do not push through fatigue. Quality is more important than quantity. 2 slow movements are better than 10 rushed ones. Some days will feel easy. Some days will feel harder. That does not mean you are getting worse. It means your nervous system is adjusting. In the next part, you will learn what real progress feels like. Progress does not feel dramatic. It feels quiet. One day you notice standing up feels smoother. Another day, you notice your steps feel lighter. You may not think about it. That is the sign. When movement stops demanding attention, control has returned. You may also notice your knees complain less. Your back feels more relaxed. These are not coincidences. They mean the right muscle is working again. For most people, this begins within a few weeks, not because the muscle grew bigger, but because the signal became stronger. Some days will feel slow. That is normal. The nervous system learns in waves. If one day feels harder, do less. That keeps the signal clean. Rushing slows progress. Consistency builds it. In the final part, you will learn when to pause, when to adjust, and how to protect this improvement long term. Your body is not fragile. It is adaptive. It learns from what you give it. If you give it fear, it becomes cautious. If you give it clear movement, it becomes confident. This simple chair movement is not about effort. It is about telling your body that the right muscle is needed again. Some days you will feel strong. Some days you will feel slower. That is not failure. That is the nervous system adjusting. If you feel soreness, rest. If you feel sharp pain, stop. Pain is not part of progress. Progress feels controlled. This is not a race. Your goal is not to do more. Your goal is to move better. Better movement protects your knees. Better movement protects your back. Better movement protects your balance. This one muscle does more than most people realize. It keeps you upright. It keeps you steady. It keeps you independent. The earlier you wake it up, the longer it protects you. You are not too old to restore this. The brain can relearn at any age. The body responds at any age. Small, clear movements create big change over time. In the next video, we will talk about a simple chair test doctors use to measure this muscle. It takes less than a minute. And it can tell you how stable your future really is. Stay with the series. Understanding your body is the strongest form of independence.